know you're surprised. You're in shock. I know. Like, this was a last minute thing. She looks at me and she goes, "Hey, do you want to do it live tonight?" I said, "I don't know. Do you?" She says, "Yeah, let's do it." And I said, "Okay." So she said, "Well, I'll post it on and we'll come on and do one." So
and here we are.
So we're going to have an exciting night tonight, hopefully. We're going to do something a little different than what we have been doing. Can everybody hear us okay first? Good sound check, everybody?
We got to text my boy and tell him we're live.
Eric, is the sound okay?
Sounds good on my end.
Okay. So let's start off like we normally do.
Let me know if there's any interference, because I'm going to...
Well, and you have to pull up your facts, too. Don't forget. So.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, you can do that on there. We always start off with the weather. We've been having some really, really nice weather, but weird weather too. It's like Saturdays, Mother Nature does not like Saturdays. It's either cold and damp or just cold. And that's supposed to be the case this Saturday again. Now, fortunately, the following Saturday, it's supposed to be real nice. But we've been having real warm temperatures, almost up to 90 degrees, and then down into the 60s. So it's kind of been, I have co-host Abby on there at the bottom running across. Whoopsie. Abby's not here tonight. Ignore that. I didn't realize that wasn't changed, but oh well. Anyhow, the weather tonight, we're like really beautiful. We had a hellacious storm that created damage all around. That was yesterday. It like knocked down power lines, knocked down trees. There was a place local that the barn caved in. They had livestock in there, so hopefully the livestock is all okay. People still are today yet without any power. They said it might even be another day or two before they get power. We had flickering power here, but we didn't lose our power, thank goodness. But for those, I hope you get your power back on soon. Tonight it's clear. It's beautiful out. We had a gorgeous day. It's 63 yet tonight, and we're only supposed to go down into the mid 50s. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weather tonight. We're supposed to have a replica tomorrow of what we had today, temperature-wise, but then we're supposed to have an 83% chance of heavy rains, maybe some more thunderstorms. So rain tomorrow, rain Friday, rain Saturday. I think tomorrow is supposed to be the worst of the 3 days, but then again, we go over to the jail on Saturday morning for a regular Saturday, and it's supposed to be chilly and damp again, and there is an overnight investigation again, so they're going to have some dampness, and they're going to have some, it's going to be cold in there, because when it gets cold and chilly in there, it gets like post-fall, early winter almost in the jail. The temperatures get really, really cold.
Yeah.
But it is an old stone building, so what do you expect? So with that being said, Gabriella's taking over.
I lost it. Hold on 1 second.
She's going to get her fun facts, or state facts. We could do some of those weird laws, too, that all these states have. Who's in the kitchen? Is Pee-wee out there?
No, he's in here with me.
Okay, I just heard somebody walking in the kitchen. So if you see anything back there where the lights are turning, let us know if we don't see it. I heard a whisper before.
Okay, I think this is where we left off.
Probably, go ahead.
Because that, yeah, that one seems
Yeah.
And I don't remember this
I
one.
don't remember that one either. So.
Okay.
See how long it's been? We can't even remember where you left off.
We ready?
We're ready.
The first fun state fact is Louisiana. Milk is the official state drink of Louisiana since 1983.
Milk does the body good.
So that's interesting. Second one is from Maine. Per the location's website, the desert of Maine is home to 20 acres of sand dunes with history that dates back to the 1800s.
I did not know that.
It has some desert in Freeport.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Don't let her do the buttons.
I thought you said you wasn't going to pick on her too much.
Linda. And the last one is Maryland. The Library of Congress reported that the Spooky Board was first manufactured in Baltimore in 1890 for supernatural communication. The first Ouija board was invented in Maryland.
Yeah, but it said Library of Congress reported that the Spooky Board was first manufactured. No, that's they need to get their facts right. The actual first Ouija boards was produced by a board game company, and it was created.
It says manufactured.
Well, okay, well,
mother.
Whatever. I'm just saying that I know that when they were first created, it was for fun purpose. It was supposed to be a children's game for entertainment, and then I guess people found out that apparently somewhere down the line that you can conjure up spirits or talk to spirits or whatever with
Look
it.
what Linda put.
There ain't no stopping her now.
Linda, you're so mean.
There ain't no stopping her now.
Do to you?
She's ready. I'm telling you, you better prepare.
That's his reaction to what's going on. Okay.
So Gabriella's going to tell us what subject we're talking about, and she's going to introduce and start the whole thing. And we can, if there's anything you want us to discuss along the way too, just type it in and say, hey, how about this?
So, I've been watching YouTubers recently. It's been Call Me Chris, and she has this series on her YouTube channel, and it's called Am I the Asshole? Now, basically what it is people on Reddit, they have stories about something that's happened in their life, and they want to know if they're in the wrong or if people are taking the situation too seriously. And they ask people's input. So what we're going to do today is we're going to read the Am I the Asshole prompt, and then answer it in our own opinions, and then
do they have responses from people on there?
There should be comments too. Yeah, there's a bunch of comments. Wait, hold on. I have to sign in. Hold on, let me sign in with my Google.
Well, while she's doing that, let me see. Let me get this up here. Or did you like chocolate pineapple lumps? Me? I did. Gabriella, I believe you like the pineapple lumps,
I love
right?
those
Yeah.
things. Those are delicious.
Eric has probably eaten almost the whole bag himself. Yeah, they were good. I think Abby was the only one that didn't like them. Well, I can't say. She said, to be fair, she wanted to try a few more just to be fair about it. But she said she did not like them, which is kind of weird. You like chocolate, you like pineapple. It did have an interesting flavor, I will just say that, the combination of the two, but it was good. It was good. Happy. So there's a lot going on. Anybody that might tune in here that on the replay on this, a lot of things going on at the jail. Look at our website, see what dates are available, and please come join us, even if it's just a tour. If you want to stop in, say hi to one of us. A lot of events we're in the process of planning right now. The Ebensburg area has a lot of events coming up, so we're going to correlate a lot of things around the Evansburg events. We're booking fast for the overnights. We've got bookings clear up through October. Planning a lot of interesting things. So
The other ones were a little bit controversial, so I didn't really
okay, like
maybe this one's
about.
like autism.
Oh yeah, we don't
Yeah,
want to go into some. Yeah,
don't want to do that.
yeah, no. Okay.
Whew, okay, so the first prompt is: am I the asshole for refusing to let someone check my phone after a coworker accused me of taking pictures of her?
Is there more to the story?
Yeah, there's always more to the story. Let me do my thing.
Okay. Well, I was going to say that better not just be the whole story
That's the
there.
prompt. That's the title of it.
Okay.
Okay. So the person said, so this happened at work. I, 18 female, was on my stuff normally, scrolling through my phone and watching YouTube videos when a coworker, 17 female, suddenly accused me of taking pictures of her. That caught me off guard. I told her I hadn't taken any photos and that I was just watching videos on YouTube, but she didn't believe me and started getting louder and kinda annoying, drawing attention from nearby coworkers. She said that if I had nothing to hide, I should just show her my photos. Luckily, the manager was nearby and came over because of the commotion. We both explained our sides. The manager said that if I wasn't hiding anything, I could just show the last two pictures on my phone to clear it up quickly. But the thing is that I had a lot to hide. No. But the thing is that had a lot to hide that I didn't want to show. Nothing illegal, creepy, or weird. So I did read that right. And definitely nothing involving her, but still private stuff that I didn't want anyone else seeing. Nudes. So I refused. I told the manager I was willing to prove my innocence in other ways, but I didn't want to compromise my privacy. As a good faith gesture, I showed my phone's battery usage stats, which clearly showed I hadn't used the camera app recently. I also suggested to check the security footage. After reviewing the footage, it showed my phone was pointed at the ground the entire time and the angle wouldn't have even allowed me to take a picture of her, so I was cleared. Even so, a few of my coworkers later told me that I should have just shown the photos because she had the right to know if she was harassed. I told them that the evidence proved my innocence and there was absolutely no need to show anything, especially not to her, someone who I've never trusted. So, am I the asshole?
So, first of all, to me, why would the 17-year-old think that she would be taking pictures of her?
Entitled.
Like, well, I mean, that's just it.
No,
Like, why would somebody be sitting there taking a picture? Like, what reason
Either
was...
the 17-year-old was guilty of something, or she is one of those people that you just slightly have your phone tilted towards that person and they automatically think you're taking a picture of them because they're entitled.
Yeah,
Or arrogant.
That's the part I think that bothers me is why in the first place would the 17-year-old think that somebody that's sitting there just because they're older on their phone is taking a picture? Like, is she conceited? Is she, like, why would this be going through her mind to begin with? And no, she's not the asshole because she should not have had to prove to anybody what she knew. I mean, and then when it takes them to go look at the security cameras and everything else to prove that she was right and her phone was, that's a little bit ridiculous, I think, just because the 17-year-old's paranoid.
That she's not the asshole and that the 17-year-old should have been like, oh, okay, like, if you saw a flash or something, then that would make sense that they were probably taking a picture of you. But the phone was pointed down to the floor through the security footage, and
Well, and the whole thing too is
Should prove
why
not guilty.
why is the 17-year-old that paranoid that she was taking pictures?
that's what I was saying. She's
Like,
either
yeah,
doing something
yeah.
she wasn't supposed
Yes,
to,
that's the part. I
or
would,
she's arrogant.
if I was the boss, I'd be questioning the 17-year-old more than the lady that she's accusing of, saying, "Well, why are you so paranoid if she's taking a picture of you or not?"
Linda has a question. I already highlighted it,
Oh,
and you just took it away.
no, I'm pissing. Do bosses let staff use cell phones like that, Diane? No. Well, if they're on their break, they can. So I'm gathering they was probably on their break. If it was during work hours, I know every place I worked, especially when I was manager at Dollar Tree, you were not supposed to have a cell phone on you at all. Now, I allowed my employees to have their cell phone on them, but if I saw them taking it out and on it, then I said something to them just in case there was an emergency, which even then they could call up the store and say, "Hey, I got a family emergency here coming on. I need to talk to so and so." But I was a little bit more lenient like that as far as cell phones. But no, they shouldn't have had the staff. They should not have been able to use their cell phones or been on them unless it was during break time. But I don't understand why the 17-year-old was that paranoid.
Well, here's some of the comments. The first one says, "Not the asshole. Everybody thinks they're a main character these days. When working in retail, me and this lady crossed paths. I was looking downwards and then shifted my glasses and kept walking. Then I heard her scream, 'You just looked through my purse,' which I obviously didn't, and I told her I adjusted my glasses and looked at her like she was crazy. She was."
Well, I had that happen with at my one job, my one supervisor. I kind of like made like a look, and it wasn't at her or anything. I can't remember. I had something on my mind or whatever, and I made like a certain look. And she gets on the speaker. She says, "Diane, I saw you. Give me the look." And I'm there, what? And I saw the look you just gave me. And they're like, I'm in concentration here, so if I gave a certain look, it was pertaining to the
She said there's a bit of interference.
I wonder why. Do you think it's the ceiling fan?
Feels like that's been on the whole time.
It could be the weather, though, too. I don't know. How bad?
I don't think it's interfering anymore because it's not showing up
Yeah.
unless we're talking.
Huh. Eric, if you hear any interference on your end, can you let us know so we can try to figure out what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but because the only thing, we have a ceiling fan on in case, hopefully, that clears up.
I don't think that's the problem.
Not hearing anything right now.
It could be possibly weather. But
That was blinking. That's never on.
what is that?
Internal play. Is that better? Somehow the button maybe got pressed.
Yeah, I'm not hearing any interference.
Yeah,
at
Eric's
all.
saying he's not. So Eric's saying it real clear. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Any other comments that they say, or you want to go into the next one?
And this is a longer one, but it says, "Not the asshole and absolutely not. You may have nothing to hide, but I have nudes. I'm chronically ill and my body doesn't show it. I take what small measures of reassurance I can get from this life. I'm severely ill, my body looks fine, it helps to know. And that is your privacy, and they can try to force that, but it's an invasion of your privacy via an accusation still is not okay. Or accusation, not accusation. Good for you holding your ground on that. You're 18, so people will try to put you in your place, set them back, and standing up for yourself, just like you did in this instance. Very well done, IMHO. I don't know what that means. I was a hothead anger plume when I was 18 to 30. It wasn't fun for any of us. Edit, y'all calling Boyo. Okay, I don't want to. I don't. That's not my lingo.
Yeah, so I know she was not the asshole in my opinion, and I think they took it a bit too far where they had to go to look at surveillance cameras and everything else just because the 17-year-old got paranoid. Because that's what it boiled down to, that the 17-year-old got paranoid.
Okay, this one is called Am I the Asshole for Accidentally Triggering My Girlfriend? This is a pretty long one. I wonder if I can move this over and put my laptop up here.
As long as it doesn't cause interference. You
I
should
don't
be able
think-
to push it back.
I just need it to be closer. The font is so weird, so it's like messing with my eyes. Okay. So, for a little bit of backstory, I, male 26, have been dating my girlfriend Jess, female 27, for 3 years. We have a great relationship. Early on, we had several big fights and went to couples counseling. We ended up going for 4 months and came up with healthy ways to communicate. About 2 months after ending therapy, Jess's dad died. She didn't tell me for weeks, which really hurt, but I knew that they didn't have a good relationship. But Jess had always said that she wasn't comfortable saying anything beyond that and asked me to let it lie, so I did. Flash forward to this week, I was starting up a big study. I work as a PhD psychology TA with my students. It's on exposure therapies, aka slowly introducing things people dislike. I wanted to do a real life example, so I asked Jess if I could test it out on her. She said yes, of course. She always hated the smell of lavender to the point that her eyes water and she leaves the room when she smells it, so I thought this was the natural choice for my study. Ooh. Yesterday morning, I started by adding a single scented bead to our laundry, then poured scented soap down the drain in our shower. Next, I rubbed a scent pod on the sides of our mattress and on the shelves in our closet and pantry. I could barely tell it was there even from a few inches away, but the point was subtly. When my girlfriend got home from work yesterday, she was off right away. She kept glancing around back and forth. She looked really scared. Her breathing picked up. I tried to talk to her, but she just used our fight safe word and walked into her room and shut the door. A few minutes later, I heard the shower turn on. I started getting dinner ready, but then I heard sobbing and ran into our bathroom. She was curled up on the floor, shaking, clawing at her arms. It was terrifying. I got her out of the shower and into our bed, but she couldn't stop shaking. She had panic attacks in the past, but this was a level I'd never seen before. I was about to call 911 when I remembered the lavender I'd put everywhere, so I brought her into the guest room. She was able to breathe there and calm down enough to talk to me. She ended up falling asleep there, so I immediately cleaned up every source of the smell. When she woke up today, I told her what I'd done. She was furious. She said I knew that lavender was her biggest trigger. I absolutely didn't. And that I took her back to really horrible experiences involving her dad from childhood, which she had never told me happened. I felt awful and tried to apologize that she just packed a bag and left. She texted me earlier and said she couldn't trust me anymore and that she'd be going to stay with her sister for a while. Now the sister and two of Jess's friends are flooding my phone with texts about how abusive I am. But she genuinely never told me that lavender was a trigger or that she had traumatic experiences linked to it. I do not know how to fix this. I love her so much and feel awful.
Yeah, but didn't he say that earlier in there
In
that
the
he
very,
did,
very
he
beginning,
said he knew.
he said,
She always hated the smell of lavender to the point her eyes water and she leaves the room when she smells it. So he did know.
What are you? Oh, right there.
I knew he said it. He's a liar. No, he's an asshole.
Yes, he is the asshole.
He is asshole with a big capital A.
And he lived?
I would have killed him.
Yeah, I would have too.
That was a very rotten, low thing for him to
knows.
do.
Okay, so that would be like Dylan doing that to me. He knows that I'm slightly allergic to lavender because I told him that during the wedding when, well, not our wedding, we didn't have a wedding, but Abby's and Chase's wedding, our aunt very nicely put up these beautiful flowers, and she made little bouquets and brochets and everything, and one of the flowers were lavender. Well, I picked it up after we were cleaning up after the entire wedding, and I started getting a rash on my arm and on my hands, and it was really itchy and everything. So I'm slightly allergic to lavender. That would be like Dylan knowing that I am allergic to it and just handing me it or rubbing it all over the bed and not telling
I just
me.
don't like when he says he didn't know that. He says, I honestly didn't know that. But right at the beginning of his story there, he said he didn't
Well,
know
and
it.
the thing is, too, if he didn't know, why would he specifically choose lavender for the experiment?
Yeah.
So, yes,
Yeah, he's an
you
asshole.
are the asshole.
He is an asshole, and she should kick him to the curb because that was a very low, rotten thing for him to pull off on her if he truly loved her the way he said he does. So, no, you are an asshole, buddy. You are a big asshole. That would be like with me. You guys know how I am with maple syrup. That'd be like your dad going and having the smell real strong of maple syrup all through the house where he knows that I get real sick from the smell of it. And he would be an asshole. But he clearly said there at the beginning that he knew that it made her eyes water.
Yes, someone said, I thought putting the scented soap down the drain was excessive at a small introduction, and then he proceeded to rub this scent all over the bedroom. What the F? That's not a small amount. That's everywhere. I hope this post is fake. I took a psychology class forever ago, and even I know that this isn't how exposure therapy works.
Yeah, no. He's an asshole.
Yeah, there's no way.
No.
He literally said at the beginning that he knew that that happened to her.
Yeah, I like how he tried to weasel his way out of like saying, well, I honestly didn't know that, she didn't like lavender and that. No, he knew that right at the beginning. He said that.
Sounds interesting. It's pretty small. Okay, this one is... Well, do you guys have any opinions first? Linda, do you want to watch it?
Eric's watching. It's just showing Linda on.
Yeah, it's only showing one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm just not.
Yeah, see?
Weird.
I'm
Yeah.
not very talkative in chat, that's all.
Do you have any input?
Nope.
Linda, is there any comment that you want to make? Other than, and he lived? I would have probably killed him. Yeah, I would have killed him. Yep.
All right. The next one is, am I the asshole for ruining my boyfriend's family dinner by bringing my own food?
That's not
Probably.
off to a good start to begin with.
Probably.
Yeah, that's not off to a good start to begin with.
I'm 28 years old, and I have been with my boyfriend for about a year. I have several food allergies, gluten, dairy, and shellfish. My boyfriend's family invited me over for a big homemade dinner. I told his mom ahead of time that I have allergies. They already know this, but I remember them because I've had a couple of instances with them because of this, and she said, don't worry, we'll have something for you. When I got there, everything had at least one ingredient I couldn't eat. I didn't want to make a fuss or go hungry, so I discreetly pulled out a Tupperware meal I made at home and started eating it. My boyfriend's mom looked offended and said I was being disrespectful and that I didn't trust her cooking. Later, my boyfriend told me I embarrassed him and should have just eaten around the allergens to keep the peace.
You can't eat around allergens.
That's not how that
You
works.
can't. Yeah, you can't eat around allergens. I wouldn't say she's an asshole. I think they're both guilty on that end. If the boyfriend's mother said, "Don't worry, I'll make sure that there's nothing there," that there's at least something there that you can eat that will be prepared.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
Yeah.
She said that they would have something for her, but when she got there, everything had at least one piece of food that she could
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
They should have known that if she told them ahead
So
of
no,
time.
I wouldn't say that bringing her own food, she has to eat.
It's a little disrespectful, but at the same time, if you're allergic to something that somebody else makes and you don't want to starve yourself until you can actually get food and leave from that occasion, then do it.
Yeah, I just think a little bit disrespectful, but not. I would not call her an asshole. I would more or less. I think I would call more the boyfriend's mother kind of like a little bit of an asshole because she
Yeah.
told the girl that she would make sure that there was something there that she could eat. It almost sounds like the mother did it on purpose, in my opinion.
Yeah, it sounds like the mother wanted to get rid of her,
Yeah,
or the mother just didn't like her.
Yeah, it sounds like she did it on
Fine, you're not
purpose.
invited to this dinner.
So no, I don't think she's an asshole. My opinion. What do you think, Linda? Is she an asshole or is she not an asshole?
Yeah, I don't think she's the asshole.
I don't think she was. I mean, yeah, a little bit. She was wrong by bringing it in a way, but at the same time, when you're going somewhere and you're expecting, maybe she had in her mind that the boyfriend's mother was going to pull that off from something that had happened prior.
Well, she did say that it had happened prior.
So yeah, I don't blame her. No, I don't. She's not an asshole. She's not an asshole. She did what she needed to do. She needed to eat. I don't want to sit for a whole evening at somebody's house and starve to death and watch everybody else enjoying food and I'm sitting there, I can't eat anything because I'm allergic to it. So, no, she's not an asshole.
Wait, was there more to it? There's a little bit of like an update, kind of. She said, when I arrived, none of the dishes were safe for me. I didn't want to go hungry or make a scene, so I quietly took out a meal I had packed just in case and ate it. His mom saw me and looked upset and later told me I was rude and didn't trust her. My boyfriend said I embarrassed him and should have just picked around the food to be polite.
You can't do that.
I believe I might be the asshole because the action I took bringing and eating my own food at their family dinner might have seen as disrespectful to the host, especially after she told me she'd accommodate me. I didn't tell her ahead of time I was bringing my own food and didn't try to talk to her about the situation before eating it. I can see how that could have made her feel dismissed or insulted, even though it wasn't my intention. The action that should be judged is that I brought and ate my own prepared food to my boyfriend's family dinner without telling his mother, even though she didn't provide the food. This action could make me look like an idiot, since if I knew about the situation with his mother because it happened to me on previous occasions, I should have talked to her about it instead of doing it secretly. By eating my own food without talking to her first, I may have made her feel like I don't value or trust her efforts. That could be considered disrespectful to her as a host. So I was wondering if I was wrong.
She's too hard on herself because if it happened to her before, if this was the first time, yeah, she would be an asshole, I would say. But she said that it's happened to her before, and that's why she prepared it, because it happened to her before. So she's being too hard on herself. I mean, yeah, it might come across as a little bit disrespectful, but if it's happened to her before, and then she had every right to do that because she kind of knew the outcome ahead of time.
I agree with this comment. Easy, not the asshole. They're offended that you're not giving yourself allergic reactions. Your boyfriend is something, and a massive one for the asshole, and a massive one for suggesting you physically suffer just for his family's approval.
Yeah, well, and that's what I said. I mean, it's happened to her before. If it was the first time, yeah, I would say not only was it disrespectful, but she probably would be more of a little bit of an asshole. But since she said it's happened before, she mentally prepared herself. What she's being too hard on herself, and her boyfriend's being
And
too
she
hard.
responded back to that comment, said their excuse is that since we don't see them very often, it's just an effort. So his family's a bunch of assholes.
And look what Linda said. I can't eat shellfish, so even veggies cooked with them affects me. That's what we're saying. You can't eat around. You can't. You can't eat around it. That was no. If it would have been the first time, I could understand her being hard on herself, and saying, "Hey, maybe I should have approached her." But she said it happened before, and you can't just eat around the food. Allergens do not work that way.
Yeah,
they don't work that way.
All right, next one.
Come on, Dave. Still didn't pay us yet. What was that one? Making my daughter babysit her sister.
That seems stupid. This one seems interesting.
Go ahead, read. I don't know what it is.
All right, this one is a little bit of a long one too. It says, "Am I the asshole for throwing out my pushy girlfriend's father's things from our house?" So, let's start with background. I have been living with my girlfriend for about 2 years now. About 8 months ago, we decided to get a house together with a marriage to follow soon after. The house is considerably closer to her parents' house than our old apartment. On the day we moved in, her father brought us a mezuzah. I don't know what that is.
A mezuzah. I don't know what that is either.
I'm just going to search up what this is real quick. Oh.
It's just like a hanging plaque. Star of David.
Doorstep. It says it's a Hebrew word that means doorstep.
Yeah.
According to Jewish tradition, you should place the mezuzah at the entrance of your home and the entrance of the other interior rooms in the house. Interesting. New word. The more you know. For the front door to put outside. I'm not Jewish and neither is she, so we are both Christians who don't attend church. He is the only Jewish one, and he converted to Judaism from Christianity. We tried to tell him that it wouldn't really make sense for us to hang it, but he insisted that we needed to. It got close to an argument. Since then, he has brought many more Jewish religious items into our house and insisted we keep them. Neither me nor my girlfriend were big fans, but we didn't want to be rude. He was very enthusiastic. As of a few weeks ago, most of the house was decorated in Jewish imagery, and he was still bringing more. I didn't want to say anything direct, and neither did my girlfriend. We wanted to avoid awkward confrontation. I repeatedly told him as nicely as I can that neither of us are Jewish and that we don't need these items. Over time, I began to get feelings of anxiety. About 2 weeks ago, I had an extended feeling of being trapped. A house that me and my girlfriend paid for was being decorated in a way we didn't want, and we had no resource that wouldn't cause problems. Recourse. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible reader. I got very upset thinking about how it was supposed to be our house to decorate. My girlfriend had planned such a nice aesthetic and all these things from her father were impeding on it. So I took a few trash bags, threw everything in them, and put them on the curb. Trash pickup was the next day, and now it's all gone. For a few days, I felt so relieved. It felt like the house was ours again. Then he visited. He immediately questioned where everything was, and we got into a verbal fight, and I explained what I had done. It was brief and ended when he stormed out of the house. My girlfriend stayed out of the argument. Since then, he has not visited. Am I the asshole? I
No-
say no.
No, I would have handled it a little differently though.
Michael!
Hi, Michael. I would have handled it a little different. When he put everything in a garbage
Yeah, I
bag,
wouldn't have done
I
that.
wouldn't have thrown it out on the curb for the garbage pickup. I would have just put it in the garbage bag
And handed it
and
to him.
handed it to him and said, "Here, thank you, but no, thank you. This is our house. You have no right to come in."
He was very polite about it.
Yeah.
Up until he put everything in a trash bag and just threw it out.
Yeah, I think that was where he crossed. I still wouldn't call him an asshole,
Mm-mm.
but he should have just packed it up in a garbage bag and called him over, waited for him to come over, and handed it to him.
Yeah,
and said,
I mean,
"Here."
he's already tried to tell him like a million times that that's their house. They don't want this religious mumbo jumbo in it. That's not their religion, so they have no need for it. They're Christians, not
Michael, you never need to
Jewish.
apologize for being late. We just appreciate when you show up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's nice having you here with us again. We're just talking about am I the asshole? These on Reddit, these posts that people put, and they want our opinion, your opinion, anybody's opinion, if we think they are an asshole.
Yeah, it's basically they have a situation and they don't know if they're in the wrong or if the people that's in the situation with them are just taking everything too literally.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you here too, Michael.
It's been a while, Michael. It's been a while.
I do kind of agree here. The daughter is a bit of an ass, not saying anything. The daughter
Yeah.
should have spoke up, said, "Dad, hey, I know you mean well and everything, but this is our house. We bought it. You know that is not the religion we chose. Thank you, but no thank you." And the way he handled it, packing it up in garbage bag, fine and dandy, but he shouldn't have just thrown all of it out on the curb. He should have gave it when he saw the father, said, "Here, thank you, but no thank you."
Yeah.
So on to the next.
But he was being pretty polite because I think after a certain amount of time of you saying you don't want that in your house, I think I would have been like, this is our house. We want to
This
decorate
needs
it
to
our
stop
way.
now. Yeah.
Stop
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
us things we do not
Yeah,
need.
it needed to stop. It went too far. I mean, he had every reason to be frustrated. The guy basically invaded their house with his own
Yep.
religious interference.
And the thing is, too, he switched from Christianity to being Jewish or Judaism. So you would think he would understand that they're Christians now and that's what they believe in.
Mhm.
So he would respect that. But he didn't. He was trying to push Judaism.
I was going
on
to say
them.
that it's almost like he was trying to force that on them, even though he knows that they weren't into that. Congratulations to you, Michael. I'm sure that the book is going to be really, really, really great.
Aw.
Are you covering like haunted houses or anything haunted? Just haunted locations, not particularly houses, like a little bit of everything. I started mine on the jail. I'm doing my research on the Ebensburg area right now. That'll be my first part of the book. The second part will be all the history of the jail itself. And then the last part of the book will all be our own and everybody else's experiences that they had there in the jail.
I was reading some of the comments.
Go ahead.
So this one says, not the asshole. Shoving religion onto someone else is never cool. Clearly, he missed a thing or two on his conversion journey because the whole spreading the religion to others thing is distinctly Christian thing. It's not at all acceptable in Judaism to attempt to convert anyone. So not only is he being disrespectful to you, he is also being disrespectful to the religious principles that are supposed to be important to him.
Very, very cool, Michael. How far are you into the book? Like, when do you think it'll be done?
Yeah, when can we read it?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
She wasn't straightforward.
Up to chapter 5.
How many
Very
chapters
cool.
do you think there's going to be?
Till it's done. You can't predict how many chapters are going to be in a book.
Sometimes you can. Sometimes. Sometimes.
You usually can't because you keep on writing and writing and writing, and before you know it, you might have 30, 40 chapters in the book and you didn't even realize it. It depends on how much info you get. Oh, goodness gracious. Does somebody want an extra girl? I'll get rid of my daughter. My daughter. Hey, my daughter.
Ow. That hurt.
On to the next.
Ugh.
Just make sure when you finish it, Michael, that you let us all know. Of course, I'm sure you will. You'll be very proud of it, and I'll definitely purchase it. I will purchase that book.
Oh, this one should be interesting.
Uh-oh.
This one is called Am I the Asshole for Telling My Sister I Won't Be Her Maid of Honor Because She Didn't Come to My Wedding Due to Her Dog Dying? So far, seems like you're the asshole.
Well, but you know, if her sister don't have any children and her dog's her baby. I mean, I'm not saying that that's people when they with their pets. I mean, you're talking about a dying pet. That's pretty traumatic.
I would be traumatized, but I think I would still go at least for a little bit.
Let's see what the write-up is on it, and we don't want to judge yet.
Okay, so 28 female, got married last year. It was a small but beautiful ceremony with our closest friends, family, and friends. My older sister, 32 female, and I have always had a complicated relationship. We're close, but she also extremely emotional and kind of dramatic. She was supposed to be my maid of honor. 2 days before my wedding, her 14-year-old dog passed away unexpectedly. I was obviously sympathetic, but she called me sobbing, saying she couldn't emotionally handle coming to the wedding because she was too devastated. I tried to talk her down, even offered to have someone bring her home early if it was too much, but she refused and didn't show up. It hurt a lot. She missed one of the biggest days of my life, and I had no maid of honor. We didn't talk much after that. A few months ago, she got engaged, and just last week asked me to be her maid of honor. I told her I couldn't. I said I felt hurt she missed my wedding, and while I love her, she couldn't pretend like everything was fine. She got extremely upset, said I was being cold and petty, and that her dog was like her child. Our parents are pursuing me to just be the bigger person. I honestly don't know anymore. Am I the asshole for saying no? That one's tough.
Wow. I'm glad that you read the whole story, not to interrupt you. I'm glad you read the whole story because I got the impression by the title that she couldn't be the maid of honor because her dog was dying on the day of the wedding. That's how I initially took it. But if her dog died 2 days before, yeah, she's still going to be an emotional wreck, but going to her sister's wedding would have taken her mind off of that probably. that could have helped ease the grief of losing her dog.
See, that's
So she should have went, and
that's
she should
where
have still
I'm
done
kind
it.
of like, I don't agree that she missed the wedding because her dog passed away. Like you said, 2 days. That gives you enough
Yeah,
time to.
I was under
kind
the
of-
impression at first that her dog was dying on the wedding
That's
day.
what I thought too.
That's what I thought.
But 2 days before the wedding, that gives you enough time
Yeah.
to like calm down and relax a little bit. And you already know that it's happened, so
And the wedding
you
could
don't
have
have to like
helped
rush
take her
anything.
mind off of things.
But I think that it is kind of petty that the other sister doesn't want to go to her
I agree.
sister's wedding because of her not going to hers.
Yeah, that's exactly. I agree 100%. Her sister should have just let that pass, and she should have been the bigger person and still went to the wedding, and say, "Yeah, sis, I'll do that." But the dog dying 2 days, that wedding would have helped take her mind off the death of her dog, I would think, because it
Yeah.
would be a happy moment. It would have given her something to take her mind off the dog. She should have went.
So I'm
Yeah.
saying she is the
Yeah,
asshole because
yeah.
she said no to her sister.
Yeah.
Her sister had a good excuse, but
I
her
say they were
sister-
both assholes in their own
Yeah.
way.
That's kind of where I was going at.
Yeah.
The sister that said no to the other sister whose dog died is the asshole because her sister didn't want to go to the wedding because of her dog dying, and that's understandable. But 2 days after when the wedding actually is, that's kind of taking it overboard. And the other sister is definitely an asshole because she doesn't want to go to the other sister's wedding.
Yeah, I call that an even Steven tie. They're both assholes to a point.
Yeah.
They were both in the wrong. Why do people do stuff like that? Like, I mean, death, I don't care if it's a pet or a human, is hard as it is. And the worst thing you can do is just sit in your house and just grieve and grieve and grieve. I mean, everybody's going to handle it in their own way, but if you can go and attend a wedding or do something to take your mind and preoccupy your mind somewhere else, even if it's just for a couple hours, you should do it. I mean, they're both assholes too. They both, they both can be assholes. Sisters can be asses to each other. You got that 100% right, Linda. I can vouch for that.
Anyways.
I can vouch for that.
So one of the comments says, if you're doing this out of spite, then you're the asshole. If you're sincerely declining because you don't want to uphold all the duties and obligations of being the maid of honor, then not the asshole.
She was doing it
I
out of
think
spite.
either way, that would
Yeah.
even if you didn't want to uphold the duties and obligations of being maid of honor, that's still kind of being an asshole because that's your sister's
Well,
wedding.
they got that old saying now: 2 wrongs don't make a right. So the initial sister was in the wrong because her dog died 2 days prior. Yeah, that was her baby, and like I said, it would have preoccupied her mind for a little bit. So she was in the wrong, but the other sister making her wrong, that was not going to correct the situation whatsoever. That's just going to make everything get uglier.
And especially, let's say that the sister whose dog died had already everything prepared for the wedding, and then that happened. And since it was 2 days later after the dog passed away, she would have still had everything prepared for that day. So she still could have gone. And even if she didn't stay the whole time, that would be understandable, but she still should have at least gone for a few
For
hours.
the ceremony, you go for the ceremony, and for the reception, usually the maid of honor has a dance at the reception. Just stay for those two and then go back. But at least, that's your sister's big moment. And it's not like she doesn't care that your dog just died.
She
It's
said,
just that
she was
was,
very sympathetic
Yeah.
about it, and she felt really bad, but
Yep.
that's a crazy thing.
Yep, see, she was offered the chance to leave early. That's what she could have done. She should have showed up. And again, two wrongs don't make a right. Just because she didn't do it, the other sister shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's just being petty.
Yeah, that is. That's like, no.
This one's another one.
Here's another wedding one.
All right, this one is, am I the asshole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding? Me and my sister are very close. She got engaged a while ago and about to have a big wedding. She invited a bunch of people, letting everyone bring us a +1 if they have partners. Since I do not have one, I asked whether I could bring my best friend due to the fact that I do not know a lot of people that are coming to the wedding, apart from my family, who I'm not really close with. She told me no, since the +1s should only be the guest long-term partners, and I did not have an issue with that because I understand that weddings are expensive and very additional. And every additional person would mean that they would have more expenses. I'm sorry, the font is so weird.
But the problem, like, I'm already going right there. What, the guests' long-term partners? What does it matter if they're partners long-term or they just met each like that? What does that have to do with the wedding?
A +1.
A +1 should matter how long you know each other.
Most normal people don't consider the other person a +1 unless you've known each other for a little while.
Yeah, but still, like, a +1 should be just, like that, I would say, I don't care.
Where was I?
Because weddings are expensive
expensive.
and every additional person.
I was okay with that until recently when I found out that she let one of our cousins bring her boy best friend. I was obviously upset since she said cousin was the only one I get along with, and this would mean that I would be more or less alone the whole time. And as mentioned before, she said that the +1s should be the guests' long-term partners. She then proceeded to completely shut me off by saying that the cousin helped her with coming up with the decorations, and she's going to be doing her makeup for her wedding. I feel completely wronged since I helped her with her 10-month-old baby that I come and babysit every day for a couple of hours so she can have some alone time, and because she is understandably exhausted. I look after her dog almost every month when she and her fiance go on a holiday. I really do not understand how I've done any less than the cousin. It's not just about me inviting my friend. It's also about the fact that I completely feel unappreciated and dismissed when I devote so much time to her life to make her life easier while still working and going to school. We haven't had much time to talk after the argument, but I plan to tell her I'm not coming. I know it's her wedding and her big day, but I really don't want to go after feeling completely dismissed like this. So, am I the asshole?
Wow, that's a tough one.
I would say she's not the asshole because she feels like she's been wronged because she's pretty much because she's lonely. She doesn't have a partner.
Well, here's the thing, too. Like, the sister's allowing the cousin to come and bring a partner that hasn't been there very long because the cousin's helping her out. But the sister is her sister and has babysat for her and everything else. Does it matter who she brings? Like, it's her sister, and her sister's babysat for her, and Her sister's the asshole. She
Yeah.
isn't.
I agree with this comment right here. It says, I hate to tell you, but while you may feel close to your sister, she only seems to care about what you can do for her.
Yeah.
If she truly cared about you and appreciated all that you have been doing for her, then she would want you to feel comfortable and enjoy the wedding. You should immediately stop doing all of those favors for her. If she's not going to appreciate you as a sister, then you shouldn't have to sacrifice your time to make her life better. Not the asshole.
See, and I agree 100%. It's not like, say, your friend. Say you bring your friends invited to. Say we're talking about Abby was getting married again. So your friend was invited to Abby's wedding, and your friend wanted to bring somebody that she just met. That would be a different story. But it would be like then you just met Dylan. And Abby would say, "Oh, you guys have not known each other long enough. He can't come because you guys have not known each other long enough." But you're her sister. That's wrong. Her sister's the asshole. She isn't. That's wrong. That's her sister. And I mean, her sister did. So it was okay for the cousin, but it wasn't okay for the sister. That's the part
Yeah,
that's rubbing me
everybody's
the most.
agreeing that the sister's the asshole. It says,
Yeah.
this is how your sister repaid you for doing all the favors you've been doing for her.
Yep.
You're not the asshole, but I think that you will regret skipping the wedding. Not because of some nonsense about family and blah, 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 but because you will be the bad guy in your family if you do this, no matter how justified skipping the wedding is a bad look.
Unfortunately, that's true. I
Dull
mean, she's
yourself-
going to be the asshole no matter what because her family's going to make her out to be an asshole.
Doll yourself up, go to the wedding, stay until dinner is finished, stay longer if you're having fun, and leave if you're not. And stop babysitting and pet sitting after the wedding. Your sister does not value you and she does not value your relationship. She is a user. I'm only advising you to play this cool because people like your sister often get over on people by putting them in positions where they become the villain when they finally push back. Don't push back about the wedding.
Yep. I do agree with that. I think she shouldn't refuse to go to the wedding, but her sister by far, because her family's going to make her out to be the asshole anyhow, even though she's clearly in the right if she didn't go, but her family's going to make her out to be the asshole because she didn't go, or no matter what, because they're already making it out like she's in the wrong anyhow.
I like the way that they type this. It's her special day. It says, not the asshole, but I would attend the wedding and avoid the drama you'll get from the rest of the family because it's her special day, and then refuse to babysit or take care of her dog the next time she asks. When she asks you why you can, tell her that she should ask your cousin for help.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right. Linda said the exact same thing I said. No matter what she loses, she can't win in that situation because when you're dealing with family.
Yep, she's going to be the monster to the entire family.
That's like
She
me.
doesn't
I'm the
attend
black
wedding.
sheep in our family, kind of, because I'm finding out, and I'm going to get a little bit of political because my political beliefs are a lot different than some of my other families. Well, I'm the black sheep. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change my opinion based on reality. And, I had a brother that treated me like shit and I disowned him. And when he passed away, they said, why didn't you go to his funeral? I mean, because he's not my brother. He freaking threw me up against the wall and everything else when I come home from school, accused me. Like, I don't want to get into it because I'll get emotional. I disowned him. He was a piece of shit. So, family, like you said, they can be assholes and they can be real weird. So she can't win no matter what. This girl cannot win no matter what. We'll do one more, probably one or two more, and then we'll call it a night because
Yeah, we're already like.
we're already at the hour mark. We don't want to go to. But are you guys enjoying this type of thing tonight? Black sheep rule, Diane. Are you the black sheep too, Linda? Oh, geez, I can tell you some stories like, God.
I would say I'm a black sheep.
Why?
I just, oh,
Because you're a little bit quieter, and not because
Some-
of your anxiety and stuff and that.
maybe.
Yeah, but you shouldn't feel that way. That doesn't make you a black sheep.
How do you consider yourself a black sheep?
Because my family kind of, if I don't want to go to a family reunion because
Okay,
they're all
okay.
assholes, I'm the black sheep. If I don't believe the same political way that they think, I'm the black sheep.
To the public, I would be considered a black sheep because I don't like people
Who does like people these days?
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, the way our country is right now,
But
nobody.
I have
Unless you're a white male, then you don't fit
I
in.
have a past that makes me not like people.
Well, so do I.
So
I was freaking
That's-
bullied when I was freaking growing up.
that's why I'm
Yep.
the
Yep.
way that I am today.
Yep.
Talk to a screen.
Michael goes, I would like to think that her sister would understand, but I think you mean people are self-centered. Exactly. I agree. I agree totally. Eric, I'm glad you're enjoying it. It
Yeah.
is something different, and I still have my shows that I got to do yet, and I just with like we kind of I don't want to say we kind of how do I want to say it without I'm just going to say it because I know he doesn't watch it. We kind of got accused of focusing too much on lurking spirits and everything else instead of the Jill, when all we've ever done on all of our channels, Lurking Spirits, Real Talk, and The Other Side, was promote and talk about the Jill. So with us focusing on all of that, I haven't had time to get any more to my book. I haven't had time to do things that I want to do. I haven't had time to finish my research on the caged graves, and so I'm gonna have to get back onto it because we had a pretty good pace going, and then it kind of just between sickness and the jail, it kind of got tossed aside. We need to try to get back on that regular pace and do a promo so that everybody knows at least a couple days that we have a show coming up so that they know ahead of time. We knew what you meant. We knew what you meant,
It was
Michael.
a little confusing at first, but
we knew what you meant.
just kind of made it sound like the text had like a southern accent or something.
Yeah.
Those papers.
The papers.
Those papers. Okay, so this one
Hey, that would be a good
should
one.
definitely be interesting.
One of our topics coming up, and I bet you Eric would join into slang terms that different regions use. Like the Southern uses different terms than Northern.
We could do that in the
Northern
next one.
does things like yins, like that's a Pennsylvania thing, and we can go into some different culture dialect or different region. I'll say region dialect. I think that would be a good thing for us to
Oh,
come
this
up with.
one's really long, so this might be the last one.
Okay, one more we're going to do, and then we're going to call it a night, guys. We do have some appointments over at the jail tomorrow, and the weather's supposed to suck too, so that ain't going to, as far as rain, temperature-wise, it's going to be good, but rain-wise, it's going to suck rain-wise. So, okay.
Okay.
Eric, is that causing interference?
No.
Not showing up on the thing.
Okay.
When it shows that, like when we're talking, that's when you
Okay.
know that there's interference. Okay, so this one is interesting. I've started reading a little bit of it, and it's kind of. So it says, would I be the asshole if I, female 28, go to court against my mother, female 50? My father died in an accident back in 2020. There was a wrongful death suit as he was killed by a commercial vehicle. The total paid to my family was $2 million. My mother decided that her, myself, and my brothers would split it equally. Legally, the spouse is entitled to 75% and children are entitled to split 25% amongst themselves. So this was very generous of her. She did this out of her own free will and said she felt this was the most fair option. 5 years later, there's been a lot of drama in my family due to my mom. We were close, but then last year she started talking to a man in Vegas. And then it has in parentheses, we live in the Midwest, close parentheses, and married him in secret at some point. I have no idea when she got married. She let us know she'd be moving out there and left my 17-year-old brother alone with 11 days notice. She paid the mortgage and utilities, but he was responsible for food, clothes, etc. During this time, she had also used one of my siblings' credit to sign up for some credit cards and then defaulted on those. During this, I was pregnant and postpartum. My husband and I, very blessed, but it added to my stress a lot. I recently got a letter from my attorney with an
Affidavit.
Yeah. There's no way I'd be able to say that. There's too many letters. To sign that I am waiving my claim to any money I'm eligible for an insurance payout. I had never heard anything about this, so I called the attorney represents my dad's car insurance. It's $50,000 and being paid out all immediate family members. To all immediate family members. Family can decide how money is divided or go before a judge. To be clear, I am 100% legally entitled to a portion of this. This isn't a situation where it's legally going to my mother and we are trying to find a loophole. The attorney said they've been in contact with my mom for over 6 months. She said we had agreed to her getting everything and she decided how to divide it. The attorney couldn't move forward without our signatures, so I got that letter. I called my mom and she was wishy-washy. She said we were signing an agreement not to sue. She said she'd sign it. She didn't mention anything about money. She visited me a few weeks later and I talked to her. She said since she'd been so generous, it was a given that all of this would go to her. So she didn't tell us because it was so obvious. It's not life-changing money, but I did just have a baby and it would help put my family into a better spot while we might be headed into a recession. If my mom had come to me up front and asked me for the money, there's a good chance I would have been alright with it. But at this point, I can't deny that she likely tried to lie about get the insurance payout without any of us knowing. So should I move forward with going to court if my mom won't negotiate, or am I being selfish and my mom should be entitled to all of it? My father would not have wanted all of it to go to my mom, but they had a really bad relationship, so I couldn't use that as a metric to make my decision.
I'm a little confused on that because
The wording was not right.
well, at the beginning, it said that when the car accident happened, my father died in an accident back in 2020. The total paid to my family was $2 million. But then when they scroll down, the attorney represents my dad's car insurance as $50,000. So why are they nitpicking or even questioning anything about $50? What happened to the $2 million? If that was divided equally between the three of them, or four of them,
Well, it
whatever.
wouldn't be divided equally. The $2 million the legal spouse is entitled to 75%, and the children are entitled to 25%.
Okay, even 75% and the children split up. That's still a pretty good sum of money among all of them left over, where the hell did the 50,000?
That's car insurance money.
Yeah, but that would have been car insurance. I don't know. It's so confusing. But the 50,000,
Something is missing.
something's just not adding up there.
Imagine what a self-centered pepper would be.
Uh,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it would be pretty cool. We might have to discuss that when we start talking about dialect, in different regions. We'll
It's a
talk about
southern
the
self-centered
yeah,
pepper.
it's a self-centered pepper. Like I'm sure that's a very distinct. You probably would be able to pick it out which person's speaking that dialect. Yeah, Linda, something is missing. Something's just. I'm kind of confused on that.
Well, I didn't like the way that it was worded because I wasn't the one that sounded like an idiot. It was me reading this because this is not. I think we should do one more.
Okay, wait a minute. Now, go back up. So there's the mother gets 75%.
And the children,
Wait a
25.
minute. My brother got it. Legally, the spouses. No, but see, legally, the spouse is entitled to 75, that's why I thought I was right to begin with. My mother decided that her, myself, and my brothers would split it equally.
Oh.
That's what I thought I saw.
Okay,
So
well,
if you split $2 million between the mother, what, two brothers was it, and her?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is 17.
So that's four people. That's $500,000 a piece. $500,000 each. So that 50,000 from the car insurance, who gives a shit how it's divided? They should still have enough money from the 500,000 there. Like, I'm kind of confused. And why is the mother yeah, that one just, they're all assholes. The mother's the biggest asshole because she told the kids that.
Yeah, so this is where it kind of makes sense. This is where the 50,000 comes in. It says, I recently got a letter from an attorney with that.
An affidavit to sign saying that I'm waiving my claim to any money. I'm
any
eligible
money.
for an insurance payout.
Yeah.
So
she's eligible for it, and they're not letting her use that money.
Yeah. But I'm saying they should have had.
That one's confusing.
The mother is like an asshole on there anyhow because she was. It seems to me like since she got her new piece, that the children were second fiddle after that, and she should be considering her daughter. And her kids should have come first, no matter what. That was the wish of the father. So I'm saying the mother's asshole. Yeah, I agree, Michael. That one was deep, and I'd be more concerned about everybody's well-being, especially considering that the one was pregnant, there's a baby on the way, and babies are expensive, and if there was a promise made and that was the wish of the father, it should have stayed according to the wishes of the father. So that one sounds interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's kind of short too.
Yeah, me read that one.
If you want,
It doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying. This one is, am I the ass for not letting my fiance take a drug test for her friend? Goes, hi Reddit, a mutual friend, 24 female, of my fiance, 24 female, and I, 26 male, just got a new job and is required to take a pre-screening drug test, the kind where you pee in a cup. Who's there? Who's that?
Ghostly my eclipse.
That's Abby.
Ghostly My Eclipse?
I don't think.
Oh, hi, Abs.
I don't think that's how you say her name. But that's what it looks like for me.
Ghost Links Eclipse.
Ghost,
Oh, hi, Douglas.
Ghostly. I don't know.
Ghost Links Eclipse.
Abby, why
You
is your
see,
name
whatever.
different?
Okay, let me
Why'd you do
continue.
that?
Ever since our friend has been with her new boyfriend, she's been smoking weed fairly regularly. So she asked if my fiance, who doesn't smoke, would take the drug test for her. My fiance asked me my thoughts about it. I told her I don't think she should. She asked me why, and I told her that it's dishonest, enabling of inappropriate behavior, and could get her in trouble. She agreed with my point of view and told our friend that she wouldn't do it. I thought that was the end of it, but I was unfortunately wrong. I woke up to several messages from our friend and her boyfriend telling me that I'm an asshole for telling my fiance not to help her and potentially ruining her chance of getting the job. And it honestly made me feel like I'm not a good friend. For added context, I'm not against smoking or people who do, and my fiance is on my side. So Reddit, am I the asshole? And then there was an edit on there. It says, my fiance did not throw me under the bus when saying she wouldn't do it. She just mentioned that I had brought up risks she hadn't thought of initially. Also, this friend and I have had a soft falling out for about the last year. I've been made aware that the title can be misleading. I do not attempt to make choice for my fiance. I just express my concerns and she makes her own decisions. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's a family member. You do not take a drug test for somebody else for a job because, first of all, it's illegal. Second of all, because it's illegal, if you get caught, that person gets in trouble and so do you. You're guilty by being an accomplice there. You don't do stupid shit like that. I don't care how close you are with the person. You don't take a drug test for somebody. That's just totally against the law. And no. So no, he is not an asshole, and neither is his fiance. There should be no drug test taken for somebody else under no circumstances. And I'm the same way. I don't care if you smoke pot. I don't care. I don't care if you smoke weed.
Yeah.
You do what you want. It's nope. Yep. Guilt by association. That's
Yep.
what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Guilt by association. And not only that, that's even beyond that. You're misleading the job site by, which I wonder how they would get away with it anyhow, because now the last few jobs that I went to and the last job that your dad has had, you take a fresh piss test right there and then they're watching you. I don't know how they would get away with that anyhow. Because you're not even allowed to take your purse in there with you. You have to leave your purse out. You have to. There's no way you could sneak piss in there.
Yeah.
So no, yeah.
And this was only 8 hours ago, so
And Kiwi, Linda, she goes, friends shouldn't make friends do that sort of thing. Guilt by association. Don't take yeah. Douglas, don't take a drug test. Do anyone else? Okay, right here. Let's see. What if they had an accident at the workplace and then it was found out that there was this issue and then it's like, well, how were you clean a week ago? And that's just, I mean, come on. I mean, you were taking such a big risk by doing something like that. And we're not talking a petty risk, where you're going to get a slap on the hand if you get caught. That is an issue. That if you get caught falsifying something like a drug test in a job, you could pay a big fine. You could probably even be sitting in jail for doing something like that. That you cannot falsify stuff like that. That's just yeah, I still got a cough in that, Linda. Those cold days over the gel didn't help, and I kind of think some of it too right now. I think allergies are kicking in because
And the fan is on.
the fan is on. When the rain and that heavy winds the other day, it was just blowing all the blossoms off the tree, and all the pollen was just going all around. And this borough here, this township, they sweep our roads out front. Our house is right by a main street, and they sweep the roads like constantly, and all that dust from there when they're sweeping the roads is coming in the house. So I think the allergies and pollen and everything is just, it's not making it any better.
So I'm gonna save that as a tab. That way.
Well, yeah, there are ways to sneak it in, but what I'm saying is, I know the ones that we went through, well, for a female, we don't want to go there, but some of them, I know when Tom did his last drug test, they literally went in the room, in the bathroom with him, short of them watching him pull his thing out and piss in the cup himself. They were standing there when he took the piss test. So,
Well, that's interesting, Douglas.
they can, but now I don't even know if you could get away with that now, because they're monitoring everything. Like, short of doing a cavity search, they're like right there with you.
I guess it
So
would have to depend on how important that job is to like public. Because if it's just like I don't know, you work as a retail person, they're probably going to be very strict, and
I would think there'd be more lax. I don't know. I think if it's a job that has high security, then they're going to be taking a lot more caution in the piss test. But something like retail, I don't think they give a shit, because now they'll hire criminals at retail. They're not allowed to ask if you have a criminal background.
I agree.
Unless
Michael.
it had something to do with stealing money or something like that. But you're not allowed to, when you're interviewing somebody, you're not allowed to ask them if they have a criminal background. That's why they do the background check. You're not allowed to question them that.
That makes sense because they could lie to you. I agree, Michael. I would be pee shy.
Yeah. Well, they turn like their back, like when your dad was, they
Yeah,
have
but
their
still,
back,
they're in the
but
room.
they're in the room, and that's like he's like how are you supposed to piss if somebody's standing there?
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's
don't-
just.
I don't like people.
But how
being
would
in
you
the
like
same
this
room as
one
me.
at Dollar Tree? When I wasn't the manager yet, I was the merch manager, which was like the second. There was the merch, and then there was the manager. So the one below, I was more or less the sidekick of the manager. And somebody comes in for an interview. This guy comes in for an interview, and he comes up to me and goes like, I see you guys are hiring. I really, really, really need a job. And he says, I just got out of jail. And he says, I'm just
I
trying.
remember this one.
He says, I'm just trying to reestablish my life and get back on my feet and everything and that. And I said, well, all I need to do is go on our website. And I gave him the website. And I said, put your application in there. And I said, if we pull it up, we'll call you in for an interview and see what happens. And he goes, well, I just got out of jail. He says, yeah, he says, he says, I killed a person because they were saying something against my mother, and nobody says anything against my mother. So he's confessing to me that he was thrown in jail because he murdered somebody because they had something with his mother. They either called her names or something involving his mother. So he killed the person, and here he is coming in, and he's asking for a job. So I go into my boss and I said,
Don't hire this
like
guy.
that guy out there, I said, he's going to be asking you probably if he can get an interview and for a job. And I said, this is what he told me. She goes, oh, hell no. And they're like, yeah, well, it was my mother. What do you expect? And they're like, I'm there. I can't judge you on anything like that. That's, I don't really need to know that.
I'd be like,
Like,
it's
yeah,
nice
yeah,
to know
yeah,
that you'd stick up
yeah,
for your mother,
yeah.
but maybe
Thank you
not.
I said, thank you for telling me that. I appreciate that. But just put your application in, and if we have a position available, and you fit the requirements, you may get a phone call, and I'm thinking under my breath,
I'm
I
not
get a
gonna
phone.
have them.
so yeah. So I mean, I had some interesting characters. Cactus, you're coming on when we're ready to go off. You're gonna have to watch all this in rewind. Rewind. So, but yeah, it's that time. We've been off for an hour and a half. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this little bit of
It was something
take on
different.
it.
I thought that it would be a little bit, interesting.
Now let's see. Tomorrow night, hopefully Abby and I will get back because we have some tours at 4:00, and it's about a 40-minute drive from the jail to here. So the tour that they got is the hour and a half long paranormal tour. So that'll take us to 5:30. Oh, we may be cutting it close to have our coffee talk tomorrow. What do you say, Abby? Are you still on? Because the tour's at 4:00. If you take it to 5:30, and depending on if it's you or me talking, we may be there. It might be longer than an hour and a half, depending on how many questions they ask and stuff like that. So 5:30, 6:00. I'm looking at maybe 6:15 before we get home. So do you think we're going to be able to do our show tomorrow night? We'll let you guys know. Abby and I will talk about it at work tomorrow. And if we're going to do it, we will text, we will do a notification. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cactus, yeah, catch the rewind on it, the replay. Different. I think Gabrielle and I maybe, I don't know when our next one will be, maybe soon. But maybe we'll have where I'll put my arms behind my back and she can do a makeup thing or something on me. Something a little different. Well, because we're going to try to throw them some different things.
Not wasting my makeup.
She was working on disappearances. What was
Mysterious disappearances.
Mysterious disappearances. She was working on that. So we'll come up with something, but we promise we will give you more of a notice than we did tonight. I kind of was a little bit surprised when she said, Mom, do we want to do it live tonight? I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, I told you about this the other night. I said I have a nice, a good,
Yeah, you did.
plan.
But when every time we have
You
plans,
didn't say anything.
I say we'll see. And every time we make plans,
That's what happens. It's her fault.
No,
I'll
it isn't.
suggest something.
No, because it'll come to that last 2 or 3 times. So we're going to do it live tonight. She goes, not tonight. Yes.
Okay.
You can't get the mama there.
I can't because most of the time the dogs.
No, I'm the one that's
guilty.
guilty for the last couple times for me and Abby for coffee talk because it was always this freaking cold and cough or whatever the hell it
stick
is.
up for Abby.
I'm
and
not sick. I'm cutting myself down. I'm saying that it was me for that.
you guys' show. But for our show, it
was okay. We're gonna cut this off now because I have the
she
quote.
has to do her quote.
I have the quote.
Who does she think she is?
Who do I think I am?
Tonight.
Jeez, I
Hasn't
know
been
better.
that long.
It hasn't been that long. Jeez, I have some. I got the one that I'm gonna go with since I get picked on. Will be age is not important unless you're a cheese.
Or wine.
And that is by Helen Hayes. She said that.
No, wait, no,
Or wine, yeah.
Well, that
A good aged wine.
It kind of makes sense.
But I don't drink wine, so.
I don't really either.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
the other one had so much
Yeah,
sugar in
so-
it.
But with that being said, we're going to call it a night. Thank all of our people for coming on. Love seeing Michael coming back. Cactus, it's always nice. Douglas.
Douglas
It
was
was-
here.
Yeah, Douglas coming back. Catch this on the rewind, the review.
I was actually surprised that B Squared wasn't here.
She might be monitoring or moderating somewhere else. Maybe I don't know. But Abby, was nice to see you pop in. But what we might have to postpone. I forgot about the tour. Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow, Abby. We'll see how it goes. But with that being said, we're going to say adios, amigos. Stay tuned, and
Peace out.
we will see you guys. You guys are awesome. We'll catch you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys. Cactus rewatch us.
Rewatch. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Why is that not ending?
Because you have to press it again.